Energy Fam, it's Melissa again. We're going to do some more drills today. Today's focus is on planking. So I'm going to show you about 12 variations of planks. The reason why I love planks, I incorporate them into my practice almost daily, is because they're such a complete total body workout. They use every single muscle group. It requires so much balance, so much stability, and so much strength. So it's such a great way just to incorporate all of your efforts, everything else that you're doing in your practice. This is the way to test them. This is the way to challenge yourself. So I'll be going through these starting with forearm planks, which tend to be a little bit easier on the shoulders, then going to touch on a couple that can be done on your forearms or on your hands. And then the last few are going to be on your hands, a little bit more challenging. I'm going to slowly increase the difficulty as we go through this. So, one word of advice is that, especially if you have sensitive shoulders, you should never be in pain for these. So if any of these are giving you pain, choose a less challenging plank. Even a modified plank, bringing your knees down. Starting with your average plank, none of these variations, build that strength and stability, and then start to practice these variations when you're feeling more comfortable with it. I challenge you guys to do 3 to 5 of these variations a day. It won't take you too long. Try to hold these or pulse through these for 30 to 60 seconds. Really challenge yourself. And if you're feeling that that is too easy in your practice, in your level right now, then you can repeat those 3 to 5 for a little bit longer, or you can even go through, repeat it 3 to 5 times for 30 to 60 seconds. So strap on in. Our first two are going to require either if you have sliders at home, or if you simply have socks and a surface that you can slide easily against, anything like that. You could even get a towel, a tissue, anything that will help you slide. So the first one, these first two are going to be on our forearms. First one is our body saw. So elbows are always going to be underneath our shoulders. We're going to tuck those toes under. Nice flat level spine, pressing nice and tall through that plank. Now we're going to pull ourselves forward, pull ourselves back. Sliding forward to back. First one. Second one, a little bit different. Instead of keeping the arms stationary, we're actually going to army crawl with those arms. Since I only have my mat, I'm only going to be able to get a couple in. If you have a hardwood floor or something, you can go a little bit further, get a little more reps in. So first one, starting at my back of my mat, nice forearm plank. We're going to crawl, 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 and crawl back, keeping the legs straight and stiff. Trying to keep the hips as stable as possible. That's number 2. All right, on to our next set. These don't require the socks, so I'd personally recommend taking the socks off to get a little more traction and grip through those toes. So these will be able to be performed on your forearms or into your full-handed plank. I'm going to be demonstrating these just on my hands, but all the cueing is going to be the same. When it comes to the side planking, it might be a little bit different. But basically, we want elbows under shoulders, or we want hands under shoulders. Always having total alignment of the body, nice, flat, long spine. All right, getting into it. So our first one is dipping the hips from side to side. Again, you can be on your forearms or in full plank. Tuck those toes, nice long spine. We're going to turn onto the sides of the feet, dip the hips down, keep the arms strong, chest relatively level. Back up onto the toes, dip the hips to the other sides of the feet. Dip, and dip. Finding your flow here, pressing away from the earth. All right, second one, toe walk-ups. These, I'm not gonna lie, are very, very difficult. We want to aim for not really the ball of the foot where we usually are in our planks. We're trying to get to our tip toes as high as we can. So we start in our plank. I start on the balls of my feet. Then I'm gonna try to come more onto the tips of my toes, leaning a little further forward over over my wrist, and then plant the toes in, plant the toes in, hips go high, nice and long. Nice and slow, toes back, level spine. Toes in, hips up, press, toes back. This one is extra great for practicing for crow pose and handstand. You're gonna have a slight bend in the back as you really press away from the ground. That's okay. And moving on to the next one. Plank jack shoulder taps. So this is a mixture of two variations. A plank jack just involves the feet. So starting narrow with the feet, going wide, coming back in. That's the plank jack portion. Shoulder tap is slowly shifting the weight, tapping the shoulder. Slowly shifting the weight, tapping the shoulder. What we don't want to see here is sinking the hips, tapping. We're not coming into a side plank here. We want to keep the hips as level as possible. Shift the weight, softly lift, tap, lift, tap. So put those together. Plank jack, lift, tap, lift, tap. Plank jack, lift, tap, lift, tap. Excellent. Shake it out. Next one up. We're almost getting into those side planks using one hand at a time here. So this is very challenging on our balance. We just need to build that mind to body connection, that awareness of where our body is in space, so that when we feel that we're tipping further towards one side, we're able to correct it with our posture, with our musculature, so that we can stay level and stable. All right, next one. Sorry, I'm out of breath. These are pretty hard. All right, back to our plank. When you're ready, nice and slow, we're going to lift the left leg up, lift the right arm. Keep that balance. Slowly return it down. Lift the left arm, lift the right leg, and slowly return down. Right arm, left leg, and down. Good. Now the idea here is we don't want to flop up, flop down, flop up, flop down. We're trying to go soft, gentle, controlled repetitions here. Even if you fall, that's okay. Just really trying to soften that fall to gain a little bit of control on that way down. All right, side planking. So as I said, the ones that we just did can be done on the forearms as well. These side planks can also be done on the forearms, but the arm is going to be a little bit different. So our regular forearm plank, our arms are parallel with the sides of the mat. For our side plank, we're going to pivot that arm 45 degrees or parallel to the front of the mat, whichever gives you most stability. Turning onto the sides of the feet, hips going up. If you can see, my elbow is actually a little bit too far underneath me, so I can lift it up a little bit higher, reposition. This feels a lot better. Trying to find that sweet spot where you feel nice and strong, no tension in that shoulder. In our regular plank on our hands, similarly, elbow, those shoulders stacked over the wrists, tip onto the sides of the feet, coming on up. Now, whether you're on your forearms or on your hands, we're gonna lift that top leg up, tap it behind, tap it in front. Tap it behind, tap it in front. Trying to lift those hips up nice and high the whole time. And the same thing on the other side. Shifting the weight, hips going up, lift that leg, tap, 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 and back on down. Next side plank. This one is very difficult. This is incorporating side plank and then also a one-armed regular plank. It's going to require a lot of balance. Don't get frustrated. This is a very challenging version. So again, you can be on those forearms or you can be up on the hands. Nice flat back. Tip the weight. Open on up. Now we're going to thread through, pivot back onto the toes so you're level to the mat. Then open on up. Side plank. Pivot. And open. Pivot. And open. Good. Same thing on the other side. Pivot onto the sides of the feet. thread through, sides of the feet, thread through. Excellent. Gonna take a quick water break. It is warmer than expected. All right. Next one up is a pulsing. I feel this one a little bit more on my forearms, but you can do either one. So I'm gonna show both for this one. Forearms, turn that hand, pivot to the sides. The forearms, and my elbow's too far underneath me again, the hips are gonna touch down in the forearm plank. If you're in the regular plank, you might not have this depth in the hips. Then we're gonna dig into the sides of the feet, press and grip through those fingers, lift the hips back up. Lower the hips, lift, lower, lift. If you're up on those hands, you're not gonna get quite as much of a range of motion towards the floor. Just lower them and press. Lower, press. Same thing on the other side. Lower and press, lower, press. Excellent. Now on to our final three. These are going to be on our hands. They're not particularly possible on our forearms. I suppose you could, but it's gonna be a little bit awkward if you do it on your forearms. So, plank pose. We're gonna push our hips back as if we were coming into downward facing dog, but then start to press our hands. If you need to start bending into the knees, you can do so, but try to keep the legs as flat as possible to feel a nice big hamstring stretch here. Then we're gonna nice, slow, controlled walk the hands back out. Pausing in that downward facing dog so you know where your alignment is. Then shift the weight forward back to that plank. Push the weight back, nice and slow. And back. Pause in that downward facing dog if you need to know where your alignment is. Back into our plank. All right, last two. This one we can break down into several pieces. So if it's a little bit too difficult, try the little pieces first and then build them together. So first piece of the puzzle, regular plank, just driving that right knee in. Maybe even a slight roundness into that upper back. Really push, press, lengthen. If you can, turn towards that left side. Maybe hover here as if you were hitting the knee into the left elbow. Maybe extend that leg, come onto the side of the back foot, and then start to lift that left hand, press the hips forward, thread that foot through, open up the chest. Now when we come out, we don't want to fling out. We slide, plant, tuck, release. Other side, lift that leg, tuck it on through, pivot, kick that foot, thread it on through, open up, nice and strong, tighten, tuck, release. Excellent. Last one. This one is one of my favorite transitions in yoga. It can be very graceful when you have that balance, or it can be a lot of fun just falling in and out of this posture. Just trying to become aware of our body in space, knowing exactly the balance that's needed to be able to almost pause in time, to get that weightlessness, that floating sensation that we feel in this posture. So, when you're ready, plank pose again. We're gonna lift that left leg up, bend the knee, tip onto the side of the right foot. Start to lift that left hand so my left foot and left hand are off the ground. Then my left foot touches, open up that chest, nice big stretch here. Now tighten, find that weightlessness, come back to center. Other side, lift that right leg, bend, find that weightlessness. Tap that foot to the ground, open up the chest. Then tuck, rotate, back to our plank. All right, excellent. You guys have made it through those 12 planks. Try them out. We have a lot of time on our hands now, and I'm telling you, I just did those. I didn't even hold each of them for 30 to 60 seconds, and I'm exhausted. That feels like a workout in itself. So get to it, whether you just do these or you incorporate these into a regular practice that's a little bit longer. I promise you, you will see results from these. They're gonna build those back muscles, those shoulder muscles, get you nice and strong, and that's about it. So I hope to see you guys soon to see how strong you've gotten all of these improvements. Stay happy, stay healthy. Namaste, everyone.